Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know this is the third video in a row you've seen that looks almost exactly the same with what my face looks like. But I have to film on the same day, so I'm very sorry. Please don't judge me. Today I wanted to talk about me and how I've changed in the last 12 months and going into 2019, how I have how I'm going to be kind of operating as a beauty person. I'm not going to say beauty guru because I'm not. As a beauty person in this community on YouTube, coming 2019. So I wanted to talk about my beauty purchase habit changes and like my beauty changes in general. So I have 10 different topics I want to kind of touch on and go through, and it's about how I feel I have changed my purchase habits and my basic makeup habits in general. So number one is I have purchased way less holiday sets than I have through the years. So I have participated in each sale that Sephora has put on this year. Like, full disclosure, I absolutely have. Like, I'm not even gonna try and hide it. But I used to buy every lip set. I used to buy every holiday set, every Sephora favorite, skincare favorites, and it was just like sets. And I would get so overwhelmed, and then I would end up with like a skincare box, and I would end up with a hair care box, which is stupid because like, my hair doesn't do anything. And then all these little makeup samples that I would never use, I end up decluttering and wasting all this money. So I literally bought every Too Faced holiday set, every Tarte holiday set. I still have them. I don't touch them. So I'm being more mindful on, am I buying packaging? Am I buying the colors? Am I buying the skincare because I need it? So when I went and I participated in the holiday sales this year, I actually bought things that were replacements. I bought things that I never tried before. Like, I bought a lot of liquid and stick products that I never really dabbled in. So yeah, I feel like it was important for me to like really look at what the value of the box was and really look into what was in it and if I had it. And that was something else I was never really looking at, is like, yeah, I'm buying the Sephora favorites, but I already had 90% of the items in the collection, so what was the point? Number two is I actually tried to introduce myself to more indie brands and purchase from more indie brands this year. So it was actually Alamar Cosmetics coming in BoxyCharm that made me kind of open my eyes to that. I also spent more time on the indie hashtags on Instagram, and I stopped paying attention to like Too Faced and Tarte, and like, I don't know, I honestly should have wrote down more notes for this, but I started not surfing Sephora and surfing indie brand instead on Instagram. So I got to try out Jolie Beauty this year and Makeup Maniacs and just become a little bit more familiar with what those other brands are, so I could spend some of 2019 as well kind of trying things that are running out of people's houses, that are more, I'm not like dumping my money into conglomerations instead of like somebody who actually gives a shit about makeup, gives a shit about the industry and not the bottom line, basically. Number three is I stopped buying every release. So a good example of this is when Laura Lee and Manny and Jeffree Star and all of those people started dropping release after release, and Too Faced and Tarte and all, I keep referencing them, but like they're my main culprits, and Urban Decay even would drop their new products. I used to like run out and feel the need to buy every single one because I had to review it on my channel, which I would never do. So that was something that I started to like really look inwardly to, and I only bought things I really loved. And even still when I did that, and I noticed this with the Born to Run, is I really liked the color story in that palette. I really liked the palette in general, but that I never really, after I used it and reviewed it, it went in my drawer. And that was one I actually really wanted. So this one was not buying every release was a big change for me because I used to buy everything. I did buy a lot of stuff this year, and I'm not gonna lie, this was the year I tried ColourPop, this was the year I tried Morphe, and now I have a ton of things from both of those brands. A lot of those things I wanted to try, and it wasn't every release. Like, I didn't buy the Disney Princess ColourPop release, which I actually did want to, but when I really looked at it, it was kind of pointless. So many of it was totally things I already had and totally things that I didn't need and I already had in my collection like multiple times over. So I just stopped doing it. I also, when they did the holiday pre-shop for the VIB Rouge for Sephora, I went in and I had the Too Faced set. I had the Tarte set, like the pineapple set, and then I ended up putting the Too Faced set back because it was literally exactly the same set that is sitting in my drawer from 2015, 2016, like 2014. Like I had all of these things already. They were just in a different package. Number 4, and I don't know if this is a good or bad thing, but I started to try more luxury makeup. I dabbled a little bit in Tom Ford this year, Pat McGrath, Natasha Denona, and that was more me trying to kind of get my groove back in makeup. I wanted to see if maybe there was something I wasn't touching on that I could have been. Spent a lot of this year trying to get my groove, trying to feel like I loved my collection again. When I went to the L'Oreal sale this year, or sorry, not the L'Oreal sale, the Estee Lauder sale this year, they had Tom Ford and I never tried it before other than one lipstick, which I really didn't like. And they had the quad face palette and it was beautiful. It was half price. I was like, you know what, let me try it. I bought it and I loved it. I've become a really big fan of Pat McGrath. I've bought tons of her stuff in the last little while and I actually feel like the pricing on that is really, really worth it. It's not worth it if you can't afford it. Don't go in debt over it. I'm gonna say that right now. Don't be that person. I'm not saying like you have to buy these things. None of this stuff is for everyone and that's fine. I just feel like for me, Pat McGrath is a brand that actually like really speaks to my makeup styles. It really speaks to my style as a person. I like the way it displays. I like the packaging. I like the colors. Like I like everything about it so far. There's not one thing I bought from them I haven't liked. I have the mini lipstick set coming in the mail right now to give a try. I have the highlight palette, some of the smaller palettes and the larger palettes, which are behind me. Last year I did buy Natasha Denona and really didn't like, it's not that I didn't like it, that's not fair to say either. Last year I tried Natasha Denona for the first time and I had bought one of the larger palettes and then we were kind of moving around the time that I bought it, so I didn't get a chance to really dive into it. So I've been trying to use that a little bit more this year. And it's not about the money, but I really prefer Pat McGrath and I actually don't think that Natasha Denona is worth it. Number 5 is I stopped buying lip sets specifically. So at the beginning of the year, one of my return videos I did was a lipstick declutter and a lip product declutter. And I actually realized I had close to like 500 lip products, which is totally unreasonable and ridiculous. And I did that declutter. I think I got rid of almost 300 lip products. Like it was crazy. It was almost half of what I had. I will link the video down below if you're interested in that type of video. But I used to buy lip sets like crazy. Like they would do Sephora lip favorites and then they would do the mini nude lip favorites and they would do this favorites and that favorites. And Marc Jacobs would get a set out and I would buy that. And Kat Von D, like the minis and the Bite Amuse Bouche minis. And the second they were released, I would buy them. I have one from Urban Decay, Kat Von D. I think I did a Marc Jacobs one a couple years ago. I have all of the minis still and some of them I've never even touched. So this year I was like, no, you're not doing this. When Kat Von D released her like nudes or they're like all the brown shades, I looked at it, added to my cart and I was like, what are you doing? Go drag your ass over to your counter and see what's in there. Like you basically have a makeup counter, pull your shit together. So I feel like although I did spend money on makeup this year, I was smarter spending in what I had decluttered and what I had gotten rid of, except for palettes. That's another story. Number 6 is I made less ad hoc purchases. So for me, ad hoc purchases are just like, I'm wandering around Sephora, I'm wandering around Shoppers Drug Mart, I'm like cruising the internet, add to cart, add to cart, add to cart, add to cart, add to cart. So I used to find myself scoping around Instagram and I'd be like, oh, that's a pretty palette. Shop website, shop, add to cart, check out, buy. And then it would just be here. I don't know how that happens. But I stopped doing that. I started finding stuff I liked and then I would check out the website. I would check out the shipping. I would check out the experiences of other people. I would actually go and look at looks and I would do like look up reviews, and I was never doing that before because the review never mattered to me because I was going to review it. So I'm not doing that anymore and I feel like that saved me a considerable amount of sanity in my collection. And I was so bad. I'm so bad for the like Sephora like little air traffic control thing they make you walk through with all the minis in it. I used to, every single time I went to Sephora, grab something out of there, and this year I think I only did it twice. Number 7 was I introduced declutters into my life. And not just filmed ones. Like I actually sit, and if there's something I know I'm not going to grab for, I have a declutter bucket over on the other side of my office. And anytime that I know I'm not going to use something, something comes in BoxyCharm, something comes in Glossy Box, I'm gifted something, wherever it comes from, if I'm not going to use it, I put it in there. My friends know that box is there, and they actually take things out of it when they need them. If they want to go through it periodically, they're totally welcome to. And I've also done filmed declutters. So I've done, last year I did blush and bronzer, and this year I did lip products and eyeshadow palettes. And I never thought I would get to the point where I would be doing that actively and on film. So I'm glad that I've been doing that. It's made me hella aware of how much stuff I buy or ask for gifts and then don't end up using or don't end up liking. In relation to declutters is what I had listed as number 10, but I'm going to switch to number 8. And that is returning products. So I was really bad for buying products, not liking them, and then not returning them. And they would just go in the garbage. And it's not a smart purchase path. It's not a smart consumer path. It's not a smart financial path. So this year, when I would buy stuff and not like it, I would actually return it. I returned the Sephora Pro. I would have to go into my returns to actually look, but I know I returned multiple things this year, which I had never really done before. And like, people don't do it. Like, it's a thing. Like, people don't return stuff they don't like. And you're literally throwing your money away when you do that. So please, going into 2019, if you're one of those people that doing returns makes you nervous, do a return. You're literally flushing your money down the toilet. Returns didn't make me nervous. I just like to have products to talk shit about later. But like, I can throw a picture up and talk shit all I want. I returned the Fetish palette. I returned the Sephora Pro Editorial 2.0. There's been so many products this year that I've been like, nope, this is bad. It's not for me. And I've taken it back. Number 9 is I have been doing a lot of stop goo hoarding efforts. So what goo hoarding is like all the skincare, all the moisturizer, like body creams, body butters, hair care, like everything that comes in a tube and is some sort of goo is goo hoarding. So instead of buying bulk at Costco, like hair products and body washes and constantly keeping like backups of things, I stopped doing all of that. When I have Glossy Box products coming, instead of going and purchasing some sort of body wash or hair care, I know that it will come. Same with dry shampoo. I get dry shampoos in subscription boxes all the time, so I stopped buying dry shampoo. I stopped buying hairspray. I stopped buying anything that could come in a subscription box because I can almost guarantee in 1 or 2 months it will. And going to Generation Beauty, I now have a whole drawer of hair care, of leave-in conditioners, of hair mask, of shampoo, of conditioner, and I don't need to buy any of this stuff. So instead of going and buying my favorites, so to speak, I am working through all of that stuff. So there is no more constant goo everywhere. There is a linen closet in my washroom, and it used to be full of extras. Extra body wash, extra gel, extra hairspray, extra toothpaste, like all of that stuff, because God forbid you run out. And it's not like that anymore. It's almost empty. I still have my skincare box, which I've been slowly working through, and I've been like gifting to other people products I haven't opened. But like, don't goo hoard, especially if you have subscription boxes, because that shit is coming to you monthly. It's a subscription box. Every 12 to 30 days, it's coming. And number 10 is probably one of my more major changes I've done this year, is I've been trying to actually pan products actively. So I open a product and I try and use it start to finish. I had project pans going on my channel a couple times this year. I tried this in the past when I was on YouTube, the first round in 2015 and 2014. And I was never successful with them. I feel like project pan shows a level of, I want to almost say maturity and discipline that I just didn't have back then, because I'd be like, whatever, nobody's checking up on me. And I was doing it more for me this year. So I highly recommend you try project pans, only with products that you like. People that do project pans with products that you don't like or don't like love, like you're gonna die from it. Just don't. This year was a big year, and for me, like I changed jobs twice. We moved last year. We started taking on other things. We bought a new car. Like it was a very big year of things for me. I feel like in the last 2 years, I've made major changes in my life. And I'm very thankful that I've been able to have this as an outlet and like really watch myself grow in my purchase patterns and my purchase paths and like who I am and the way I've been doing my makeup and how I choose to live. And I just thought these 10 things of how I've changed from the beginning of the year was pretty interesting. And I hope you also found them interesting, and I hope you're able to reflect on how you have changed over the last year, because that's what we're supposed to do in December and going into January. Anyway, guys, thanks so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a little bit out of the ordinary. And I hope you choose to subscribe and hang out with me to see what's up in 2019. Bye!